Joining me today is Canadian in-demand Emmy Award-winning makeup and hair designer Donald Mowat. He also received an Oscar nomination as well, and he's here today to talk about his latest work in the TV series Moon Knight. Welcome, Donald.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, congratulations. You have over 30 years of experience, and you've been a personal makeup and hair designer for Daniel Craig, Mark Wahlberg. You've been on films like Dune, Blade Runner, 2049, and the list goes on. So for people who may not know about Moon Knight, can you tell us a little bit about it? I know it's 6 episodes. It's based on a comic book, correct?
Right. Yeah, it's in the Marvel universe. To be honest, I didn't know a lot about it. I've worked only once with Marvel, briefly on one of the Spider-Mans, which I really enjoyed. But Oscar Isaac had because I'd worked on Dune, he'd asked me about working on Moon Knight, and I went along and met everybody, and would I come on as the makeup and hair and prosthetics designer and put together a team. And I thought, why not? And it was exciting. And working in streaming TV, I'd never been on something like that in, I don't know, many years. So it was new for me and a new challenge. And I was excited by it, and great people, and Grant Curtis and people running it. And so it was a whole new world for me, basically. And working with Oscar again and Ethan Hawke and May, it was kind of a breath of fresh air, actually, because you try something different that you think, I'm never going to work in TV. It's not my world. And suddenly you go, actually, it is. It's doing 6 of, these episodes of something that I'm used to doing one big movie. Here you're creating little snippets that become one thing, one character, and you have a little bit more time to evolve. And so it was a lot of fun for me, because I got to get to know Oscar better. I hadn't seen Ethan in, 15 years. I'd worked with him before, and worked with people I'd had before on my team. Luve Larson was with me on Dune. I had Amma and new people like Megan Norris. And so I got to train some people. I got to bring some new people. So it, for me, is really important. There's sort of the new and the old. It was a very good environment.
Yeah, so it takes a team, right? And
takes a huge team. We had to create, a lot of people think, when you think of Oscar Isaac, just the fact that he's a split, I don't want to say split personality, because there's a lot of terminology of personality disorders. And, I call it twinning, but when you have to take a double, so that Oscar's got to play Mark Steven throughout the course of one day, and that another actor or stand-in or a photo double and a stunt double have to work. You have to recreate the way Oscar looks on another man, so that Oscar is doing Steven, and then you change him later in the day as Mark, and another guy's got to dress and deliver the lines, and his hair, face, body, hand, everything has to look as close as possible. So we're making wigs, prosthetic nose, for him, and doubles and stunts to make this work, and then take costume, makeup, hair, incredible visual effects, which Marvel are, that's what they are, visual effects and cinematography, and blend it all together and deliver a seamless episode.
Yes, my goodness. Donald, like for Steven was like a sweaty look, maybe exhausted look, and Mark had more like, I guess, put together. Do you find it's easier to create a get together look as opposed to a sweaty look with working with digital? Like, tell us the process. Like,
well, I'm really glad you're asking that, because sometimes making people look good is sort of, well, that's what everyone assumes makeup do, or what hair does. So I would say it's very difficult, actually, to do very little. Hair is really hard to, I'm not a hairdresser. I mean, when I have people on the team who really do hair or do makeup, some do both. I find it really difficult sometimes. I think the hair can be too good sometimes in TV and movies. and I'm troubled by it. I think doing the makeup on something like this on Oscar, you're not going to be able to do a lot. I mean, the hair is the hair on a man. It's like, what are you going to do? It's like, you can mess it up a little. What are you going to do on me? You know, it should be sweaty, but yes, you can. I mean, dark circles. I think the vanity of making somebody look better is what all makeup artists are sort of trained to do. All hairdressers are trained to do. But making someone, telling the story, making somebody look the way you feel or look when you have the flu or COVID or when you haven't slept for a week, that takes a lot of skill. And it also requires a point where you go, wait a second, is it too much? Is it a little hokey? Is it theatrical? And that took a lot of skill. And I think it, you know, I love doing that because I think it's what I like to do. And people call me because I think, you know, it's something I enjoy. But it was very important with Oscar that it not be over the top. You have to believe it's the same guy. It can't suddenly be, he walks through the door and now here's Mark with like California tan and there's Stephen, because it's the same guy.
Yes.
And I did that once on a film many, many years ago. And I think I made a mistake where a producer didn't have a lot of experience and they sort of talked me into the guy having like stubble. And I'm like, but why does he have stubble? It's the same guy in the course of the same day. And I think it's, you see people's misunderstanding of a visual storytelling, that if you're a person who's unstable, you don't suddenly grow your stubble in a minute. If you see people who are, you know, not able to look after themselves. So less is more, right? So I based it on things like Ralph Fiennes and Spider, little things, you know, like sweaty. But, you know, people who look strange can be clean shaved. They don't have to look like they live in the streets. They just, there's something about them that's off. Then we do the episode Asylum, where he's got the contact lenses, dilation in the eyes. He looks like he's on opioids. His swollen, he's slobbering. I've given him cotton in his cheeks. So it's the old Marlon Brando trick. His cheeks are swollen, so he's drooling. His eyes are all glazed over. And he looks terrible, but it's the same guy. So that's it. The same thing with May or with Ethan. We gave him a mustache and a really great wig. Actually, it looks like his own hair is shorter. But it's not like some huge, we didn't suddenly change his appearance where it's bizarre or jarring. It can't look like a gimmicky disguise. You know, it's just something's different.
Yeah. So like how much research is involved? Like, do you take like from, you know, other films and you apply it from your research, like references, or how does?
Yeah, I mean, I looked at things like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and The Tenant, Roman Polanski's The Tenant, Spider, Dead Ringers, because I was fascinated about twinning, about twins, even though he's not twins. The idea is similar, you know.
Right. Right.
And then, of course, with May, working with Muhammad and then Benson and Moorhead, being, you know, that our lead lady is newer to the business, a really wonderful woman, May Kalamawi, playing Layla, is that she's one of the first, you know, Arabic women on television with this great hair and natural. And we wanted to preserve, and Muhammad was like, Donald, I want it to look like modern day Cairo. And it's, you know, whether you live in America, in North America, Canada, Britain, the conception of modern day Arab women is not at all correct. And it's misinterpreted in many places. And May, here she is with this great hair. So we really went with that and a modern look. And she's a natural. Not everybody wears that kohl eyeliner and all that business. It's really a big misconception. And her hair, and I'm really proud to be part of something that had this great natural hair and this action, modern young woman. I'm really proud of that we created a look for her.
Donald, is there a favorite part that you enjoyed? I mean, you work with actors, but um, I mean, I was going to ask too, like, like there has to be that good connection and conscious, dare I say, like hairdressing, you know, hairstylist to makeup, like you get so close to the actor. Like, how do you create that, that connection where there's trust and is there a favorite part? I know I'm asking two questions here.
Well, no, I think it's great. I think it's something that people, every job has unique aspects, and there's a perspective. We all have something we do. I think we have a window into something that other people don't. It's unique. But then there's things you do in your job that I think are unique, and you have a perspective into the world that I don't get. So you get to ask questions I don't get to ask people. And so I think, pardon me, in the world of what we all do, I love that. I like the connection, but I think it's our personalities bring us to what we do. If you're an open person, people feel they trust me, they have confidence, or they can confide in me. I think people sense that. I was once told by somebody that they feel that if you care or you're interested in people, which I am, I'm really interested in people. I always have been, that people sense that. And if you're interested in people, then the actor will entrust you with that. If you're not interested in people, which some people are not, let's face it, they're more into dogs, or, there are people like that. I'm not that person. Then that's the way you go. So yeah, I mean, I think that's how it is for me. And you connect with people or you don't. And not everyone. Some people on my team connect really well with certain actors, some don't. I kind of love it when it's a nice balance of, but also I like to nurture a team. I want my team to move forward and up, and see people on my team become designers and depart, and then they leave me. But that's part of my job, that I did a good job. If they moved up and on, and they're no longer working under me, or they've moved forward, and then some of us work together, and some, it's kind of nice.
And yeah, so is there a favorite part in the series, Donald? Or
I think, well, I'd say 5 and 6, because five was called Asylum. I think 5 for me was, by the way, I hadn't worked in television for many, many years. So I was a little bit, honestly, Christine, at 5, I was like, oh my God, I don't understand how this works. And then I realized that one of my friends, Joan, was the editor who I'd worked with on Nocturnal Animals, which was an incredible experience with Tom Ford. And I went, oh my God, she's an amazing editor. And I think at that point, I felt like, okay, this is really, it's just a series of little movies that all come together. And it looked good with great cinematographers, Greg Middleton and Palermo. And I've forgotten his first name. I'm having a senior moment. I want to say Robert, but Palermo, great DP. And suddenly Mohammed Diab, all our directors, everyone together. And you just kind of do it. But 5, because Oscar had his contact lenses. I was dying to use them in the show. I wanted these dilated lenses. I was a little bit excited. I'm like, can we do it? Can we do it? And then Oscar said, no, I'm not into it. And then one day he looked at me and said, no, do you think we could do the lenses? And I'm like, yay, because I was maybe losing interest if we didn't use them. I felt a bit like, really? And we did, and I loved it. And then we did the cotton in his cheeks, and I loved it. And then Ethan, we did. So I love that when there's a shift, when there's an enthusiasm, and we do something.
Donald, thank you so much for
My
speaking
pleasure.
to me
Thank
today.
you.
And
You're welcome.